Good morning and welcome to 1 Million Cups. It is 9 o'clock, 9:01, according to my phone. We're going to go ahead and get started this morning. We're excited to have you. Just a little bit about 1 Million Cups, and then I want to thank our sponsors, and then we'll get started. Basically, what we're here to do is really to help educate the community on local startups. We're here to help equip local entrepreneurs and also accelerate their business in Tulsa. And a couple of things I wanted to do is just kind of thank our sponsors this morning. We've got them up on the slide here. We've got the 58, it's the college ministry that meets here. Also, we've got Topeka that supplies the coffee every week. And of course, Foolish Things for supplying the facility. So if we could, let's give our local sponsors a hand this morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. We've got special guests, two speakers this morning. And this setup is basically they'll present their companies for 6 minutes, and then we'll have about 20 minutes of Q&A after that. And Barron will actually go over the Q&A session after the speaker. So we're going to bring up our first presenter. It's Trivia for Friends. Larry Poor is the founder, co-founder of Trivia for Friends. It's an Android and iPhone app. Basically, it's an app where you can go against a friend or two friends or up to 4 different users, correct? And let's welcome Larry as he comes this morning.
Thank you, Brad, and 1 Million Cup participants. So I don't know what this means. Dave and his wife are over on this side of the room for change. Don't know what that means. It's springtime, right? So, as Brad said, my name is Larry Ford, and I'm here with one of my other co-founders, Brian Paul. We'll both be presenting this morning. We have a third co-founder that lives out of state. And all three of us came on from Jersey and started our own companies when we were in our early 30s. And so obviously I've been doing it a little bit longer with Brian. But all three of us started companies. All those companies are in existence today. And all but a couple of them have been based right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I'll now let Brian tell you a little bit about what Trivia for Friends is.
Great, thank you. So let's see, what is Trivia for Friends? Well, it's a free, currently, we'll get to that in a little bit, but it's a mobile app for playing trivia. It's a trivia game. And you can play it on your iPhone or your Android. So, sorry, Windows Phone users. The game, not to get too much into the details, but bottom line, you pick a category, you answer a multiple choice question. Okay? And there's some more strategy to that. There's some other factors that come into play, but we can talk about that a little later. I want to tell you, first off, it's, you have a limited time to answer questions, so for those of you who think you can just get on Google and answer all your questions right, unless you're really fast typing, it's going to take a little time. But it doesn't take a lot of your time to play the game, unless you have, of course, many games you want to play. And you can play unlimited numbers at any time. As mentioned earlier, you can play against one person, 2 people, or 3 other people. So 4 people per game. So it kind of makes it a little bit more like a board game, kind of around a table or what have you, where it just keeps moving from player to player around until it comes back to the original player. So part of the strategy when I say free, it's part of the flagship app. So it's out there now. It's a general category. So when the game begins, I think 6 categories are selected at random for that, and they're like entertainment, music, or sports, culture, pretty generic categories. And that's the flagship app, and it basically generates revenue through banner advertising. The goal is to come up with specific apps. So now that we have this model or this engine, we can reface it with just different questions and different graphics, if you will, and provide something that's more specific to just music, right? Or just OU sports, just OSU sports. You know, you can all the way down to whatever's hot today, Miley Cyrus or something, right? And so you can create some sort of continual new app generation by just creating new specific markets, and those would be paid apps. And currently, go ahead and hand it back to Larry, like where we are today.
Okay, so it's been on both of the stores for about 2 months now, and our initial marketing has been primarily with our own friends and word of mouth and that sort of thing. We've just really started in the past 2 or 3 weeks of really doing other marketing. We of course done we have our website, the traditional setup. We have a Facebook page and a Twitter account, and we've got a YouTube channel where we have a couple of videos set up already, and of course it's on both of the app stores. We've submitted it to site app reviewers, and that was just a couple of weeks ago. Submitted about 50 of them. We haven't gotten any reviews yet. We don't know if we will, and even when we do, we're really not sure if that will really have much of an impact in spreading the word or not. But it was a low-cost form of marketing to do. We've done a few news releases. We've also we've submitted to the Tulsa World. They do a weekly app review in the Sunday edition, so we've submitted that to them to do an app review, and we'll be searching out other newspapers around the country, because our audience is worldwide. It's anybody in the world that has a mobile device that wants to play a trivia game on their mobile phone. We haven't really done much paid advertising like on Facebook ads or other website ads, but we're going to try most of these other lower cost marketing avenues first before we went to directly paid advertising. We have been doing, we're just started this week, some of the live trivia producers that do live trivia events. For example, here in Tulsa, they do it weekly at the Joe Mama's Baker Street Pub and some other places around town. So we're starting this week, and next week our ad will be shown in some of those live events in various states around the country. So one other thing, I've got 6 seconds. User engagement is a big thing. I'll elaborate more on that here in the Q&A.
Okay, yeah, sorry, my microphone's a little hot. So if you haven't been here before, we now have a question and answer session for about 20 minutes, and this is the time when you get to provide feedback and ask some questions about what Trivia for Friends has been doing and what they plan to do. So if you have a question, raise your hand and get Dustin or my attention. We'll keep you in queue in our minds, and then if you have a follow-up, then hold on to the microphone. Otherwise, it's on to the next question. So we have a question here.
Where are you generating your questions from?
We have pretty well done them ourselves. We contracted out through some freelancers to get some of them. Most of them we produced ourselves. And I say ourselves, that's the 3 of us that are founders and wives and other families. Trivia it's everywhere. I mean, it's trivia is trivia. So it's pretty easy. Just all we do, we put our data link together with questions. We store, even on the game, there's presenting 4 possible answers. Only one of them is correct. But we store actually 6 different answers, so they're rotated throughout the game.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry to follow up. So how big is your bank of questions, and then how quickly will you repeat it?
Well, we don't repeat within the game. We play game sessions with up to 4 players. So we definitely do not repeat a question while you're playing a game session. You can be playing the second game, it might repeat, but we So we've got a data bank of 2,000 or 3,000 questions right now, but that's growing. And as we do, as Brian mentioned, our discussion tabs, we will be increasing that very, very quickly. And there's various sources. You can do a live question concept.
I think I missed the part where you showed Facebook and Twitter and things like that. Is this one of those things where, like, I'm going to start getting requests like, why didn't you play with your friends or something? Is that kind of the route that you're going with it? No.
Yeah. So yes and no. Certainly that's a possibility for the user. In fact, we require someone when you play the game to log in using your Facebook account. And there's a reason we did that early on, and certainly we've seen some pushback from that. But we tried to mitigate that a little bit through some, when you log in, give a little message, we're not going to post, blah, 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 automatically for you. Now, but it does give people the opportunity to either share a question with a friend, invite people to play, any of their friends, loads up their Facebook friends, they can invite any of them to play if they want to, right through the app. So there's some connection there that we wanted for the social engagement. But it doesn't do anything without anyone's express permission to do so.
And then follow-up question, if I can. I don't know how it works in trivia. Maybe you guys will look into this, maybe you already have. Is there like a copyright name that says that you can't ask certain questions, like about something title that you're gonna like come back and get sued on? Like, I guess my question to you that way is, can you do like a Walking Dead trivia? Because that's huge right now. I don't know if you guys, if you guys can bump into stuff as far as licensing.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and there's certainly some possibilities where anything that is hot, we can possibly run into things, you know. And again, there's the idea that it depends on what licenses you have. We create our own questions, and we own questions. The fact that we're using a trademarked thing to do that, that will come down to some laws. Certainly we can discuss it.
You guys had said that you can play four people. Is that a limitation you guys have on the game, or could it be opened up for multiple large groups of players?
You know, in theory, yes, it could be opened up to however many players in theory. Really, it's a real estate issue, being able to produce the kind of look we wanted that really only had enough for 4 people to kind of show up, because we use a Facebook photo to identify the person. So, in fact, you can see up here. So when we're, in this game, we only have 3 players. You fit another one right here, and it's just showing what their scores are when you're making a selection. So it's a real estate issue, and try to keep it something simple.
And the reason I ask that is because I know when I go to Oklahoma State football games, they will have like a trivia question, and you know the audience participates. I could see something like a partnership there, where maybe you guys approach OU, OSU, TU, and where they all compete for multiple questions, and then ultimately the winner would be the one that didn't get it wrong or something like that. They get a prize of some type. And that's another part is, can you guys, you have the ability to like offer prizes like that, point system, so the more they play, they get a point system, and maybe they get a t-shirt from one of these.
Yeah, I mean, certainly in the game right now, there's a point system in place, and I won't describe exactly how it works, but there's a system, and you get badges, and here you kind of, you know, upgrade yourself. But certainly, yeah, any partnerships, I think, are a great option for you. You know, we have one. You want to explain one trivia event?
Yeah, or before that, the direct report to what you're asking, we have a point system, either math, it's a marine play, or there is incentive there. And we know we can do more. We need to, that's what really needs to be done.
Hi, I've been to the meetings quite a while, heard a number of app launches. Trying to understand the business model, barriers to entry, and what the cost that you have to develop your programs, your business, how you're financed. You're in good state for financing now, financing sources. What is the revenue model? What is a typical app in business, and how, I know you have a home run where you make billions, but what's the concept for developing an app launch? And yours particularly.
I can address that in summary. It's the free app is there's some banner advertising being made, and that revenue is, if you had 500,000 players regularly, then you might be earning as much as $20,000 a month. But that's really the big money is in the paid apps. And as Brian explained, the paid apps will be more of a specialty app, and that's where somebody will purchase it for $1.99 probably. So you have 10,000 people that download the app at $1.99. That's $20,000. Apple and Google keep 30% of that, so it's a $14,000 profit. So, but we develop these other apps, and they're based on the same code and framework that we have now. So there's not a lot of upfront costs. But the main money is with the paid apps. The flagship app is free. I mean, it will generate some revenue, but it's not really significant compared to paid apps.
I have a question. Could you talk about your competitors, specifically QuizUp, which I've used before, and how you differentiate yourself from competitors like that?
Certainly QuizUp is very popular. I mean, they've got over 1 million, maybe 2 or 3 million downloads and players on a regular basis. They also, I don't remember the exact number, but there was something like many millions of dollars put into that company to produce it. Our app, we probably spent $40,000 to $50,000 over the past 2 years developing it. That was primarily based on other contract work we developed apps for several universities and colleges. So we've got it funded. I mean, it's paid for, it's developed. And, but now we're really at the point where it needs to spread. And so competitors, there is tons of trivia apps. So to address that, I log on daily to QuizUp's Facebook page and listen to their comments. They don't have an Android version yet. We do. So there's one differentiation already.
Yeah. Well, I think also the multiplayer aspect, the fact that we have 4 players per game. It's kind of we're looking more of the model, I'd say, like Words with Friends, let's say, and instead of the game board being between 2 people playing tiles, it's we have to 4 people around the table going through questions. And again, it's not just pick a category, answer a question. It's pick a category, answer a question. If you get it right, you pass the category to the next person. And then, there's some strategy that plays into that. If you get it wrong, you no longer pick that category, and the next guy gets to pick the new category that we start playing with. So there's, not to get again into too much of the detail without trying to explain it, but it does, there's some strategy involved in that as well.
So good morning. Very cool idea, and I'm glad you guys are doing this. I think I'm hearing an incredible opportunity around college sports and around vertical branding. Let's say OU. I mean, we're in Oklahoma. Nothing's bigger than OU football. It sounds like you already have a relationship with universities and you've built other apps for colleges and universities. I totally see a leaderboard where you get, let's say, the OU Alumni Association to back this project by sharing revenue on it. So they license the OU version of Trivia for Friends. There's a leaderboard. It's all about OU sports. And now, as I see this leaderboard, I challenge my way up like it's a tournament. So I'm leading the leaderboard at some point. And now I'm declared the champion of OU football trivia. I mean, it sounds like you're there. You've got the connections. I would encourage you to look at that.
question. Ditto. Scott said. What have you learned about so far in your process as far as App Store rankings? And I know it's a little bit of voodoo and things how they get rated and all that. So what has been maybe one or two of the lessons you've learned there? And then also, what are your thoughts on the individual paid apps versus the singular app with in-app purchases and the pros and cons of those?
Okay, and I'll let Larry, because I sort of complain about that myself a lot, so.
Still a lot unknown, because we haven't gotten the volume yet to know that we've got reviews up there that really haven't been able to really explore those analytics purely to know that result. The second question was,
In-app versus.
oh, yeah. So we thought about, for example, you have only 30 seconds to answer the question, which is kind of a plus that we tout because it's a game. It doesn't take a lot of time. You play your turn real quickly and move along. You do it while you're standing in line as opposed to like Words with Friends that you might have said take 15 or 20 minutes because you want to get the most points. So this game doesn't take a lot of time. And so, but you do have lifelines each game. So you get 3 lifelines. So you can touch that and retain 30 more seconds. So we don't have it in the game now, but we've thought about it. You may do it in an app where you can buy time or lifelines. And so that's another potential revenue generator.
So how do you have to, first off, do you have to use your Facebook account to connect, or can you have to?
Yes.
Okay. Could you see that as a limit? I mean, that would eliminate some people, because I know for me, like, I never get that out. I don't, like, just for me. Just a thought you might want to think about, just where you can maybe upload a picture and create your own account separately, maybe on your website or something.
And that's something we certainly have addressed, we've gone back and forth on, and it probably will come eventually where you can log in without using your Facebook account. It's on the books, but it's not something that's been complete high priority just because even though it's limiting, there's still plenty of folks who don't see that barrier.
And then how do you, just on the gameplay itself, how do you connect with and finding other players? How does that whole thing work? You have to log in at the same time and give their name, or how does that work? And is it on one phone, or is it like, can we all be at different locations?
Oh, absolutely. It's on your own device, so it's a push notification. So after you've answered your question, it'll notify me that's my turn, and then I'll play my turn. It'll notify you back it's your turn, and so on. Just keep playing back and forth. And you can do it, basically instantaneously like that, or you can wait and say, well, I'm not going to do it right now, and it'll, answer your question later on. That was that part of the question. And okay, so there are 4 ways of, I'll say 4, there's 3. First off, because we use the Facebook account, we load up all your Facebook friends in the app, so you have the ability to see them all and then choose to invite any of them that you want. And if they're already a player, instead of the invite, it has this add option where you can play with them. There is a search where you can search anyone who's a player in the world. You just type in a name or what have you, and you can find them. We also have a random option. So when you just click the random button, it generates and gives you a name. If you don't like them, fine. Click it again until you get someone that you want to play with. Now we provide the user statistics as well, so that you can see if they're a really good player or not so much, or a new player, or someone who has played a lot, or what have you. So that's how you can start your game, find players.
Okay, Brian and Larry. So we want to ask, as a community, what can we do to support Trivia for Friends?
Okay, well, of course, promote the app. I mean, if you like playing a trivia game, then certainly play it. That's great. If not, certainly pass it along. Just tell anybody that might have any interest about the app. We could use some seed funding. like I say, we got it financed. We're kind of at the point where if we had a little extra money, we could go ahead and accelerate. We could do some more online advertising. We think we could do that. So if anybody has any interest in any investment, we're willing to share in ownership of the company. And so we've got a business plan. We'd be glad to share that with anyone that had any interest. And then, of course, any other promotional strategies that we might have. That's what we got some of those ideas. So that's what we do. So the only other thing to leave you with is I'm going to, as we end here, I'm going to pass out some cards that are like this. I ask that each of you take at least 2, take more if you like, and just pass those along somewhere, or leave them on the counter somewhere, or whatever you can do. And if you need more, there's some at on the table at the back, but just to help us spread the word.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll take it. Yep. All right. Thanks, guys. And Larry Bryan will be around afterwards, so if you have more questions, be sure and follow up with them. So thanks, everybody, for being here so far. I've got a couple announcements. First thing is Forge Open House is tomorrow. So if you're not familiar with the Forge, Forge is some shared office space and incubator space over at 3rd and Cheyenne. If you know where Tiago's is, they're right over there in the same building. They're having an open house tomorrow from 4 until 5. So go by, have a drink. You can meet some of the tenants. They have some really cool companies there. Some of them have presented here at 1 Million Cups. We used to office there, and it's an awesome place. So it's a great way, just like this, to meet people. Also, there is a newsletter that is based in Oklahoma City, but it applies to all of Oklahoma. It's madeinok.co. And it's a great website newsletter where they promote Oklahoma companies of all sorts. They have job postings, things like that going on so that you can know what's going on. So if you have a company or have something you want to put on there, you can submit it, be part of that community. Also, we are starting a newsletter for 1 Million Cups. So if you want to get announcements on what the companies are presenting each week, other events that are coming up, if you want to learn more about the presenters after they've presented, you can go to 1millioncups.com, click on the Tulsa site, and then click Request to Attend, and it'll show up. Mr. Barron has an announcement.
All right, well, as some of you know, I'm a pianist, and I have a concert coming up next month. It's called A Brief History of Piano Jazz, and you can see a link to it there. If you want to get tickets, which I recommend that you do, because I anticipate that it will be sold out, you can go to foolishjazz.eventbrite.com. That's foolishjazz.eventbrite.com. And with this concert, just like with any other, I have 3 goals for the audience. 1, I want you to learn something. 2, I want you to hear good music. And 3, I want you to have fun. And I think it's important that they go in that order, because if you learn something about what you're hearing, then it's more likely that you'll think it's good. And if you think it's good, then you're already having fun. Now, I want to show you briefly how that happens. So I'm going to play a tune called Dizzy Fingers, which is from the novelty category of piano. And if you don't know what that is, then you'll have to come to the concert, because I don't have time to explain it right now. But what I will tell you about it is something a little bit more personal. I'm the son of a professional pianist, and when my sisters and I were younger, we would beg my dad to play Dizzy Fingers. We'd clear out the living room of the coffee table and the chairs, and then we'd spin ourselves dizzy on the carpet. Now, if you would like to replicate this action, there's plenty of room in the back. Just make sure, go ahead, man. Just make sure that you don't hurt yourself, because we're not liable for that. So this is a shortened version of Dizzy Fingers.
makeup, so it's pretty awesome. So our next presenter is BIA Training Solutions. Clint here, he's going to go get set up. So I met Clint at the beginning of this year. We did some team building exercises at their facility over on Main Street, Jinx. And Clint is awesome. He's a character, so I'm excited to see his presentation today. I'm going to leave it up to him to explain what they do because I don't think I can explain it very well. But let's give a warm welcome to Clint Dooley.
That's something you hear every day. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. All right, good. Well, my name is Clint Dooley, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here and tell you guys what BIA is and what we're bringing to the Tulsa area. BIA is almost didn't use the trigger. All right, BIA stands for Brave Independent Americans. What we do is unlike anything you're going to find anywhere else in the country. I believe that in the future, what we do will become an industry norm, but currently we're the only ones taking this approach to firearms training, and we're actually bringing firearms from being more or less a big scary thing that happens out of the live fire range. There's a lot of potential hazards to the individual, to something that's very intimate, very close setting, very one-on-one, and it's designed to say, okay, for all those people out there that are currently carrying guns in our community that are scared of the guns, that's not a good thing. They're going to carry those guns out there around your family's line. We have to give them the best possible training we can. But we have to also identify that if we send them out to these big scary places that they've proven time and time again that they're going to avoid, then it's not their fault that they're not getting more training. It's our fault that, and I'm speaking as far as my industry, it's our fault for not creating a more relaxed environment, more suited for their needs. Okay, so that's just kind of a brief overview. But when we're asked, Clint, what do you do? We build custom protection plans for the everyday person. Okay, so we're not just a training facility. My goal is to work with people for up to 30 days, and we look for individuals, families, and small businesses. Small businesses we define as probably around 30 employees or less. As our business grows, our capabilities to help larger entities grow with that. But that's what we do. And I know that that's all great to you guys right now, but I'm going to do a good job of explaining it, and I have a video to close it up with that'll help put a picture on it as well. So the custom protection plans and training is what you kind of briefly touched on. Simunition weapons. Okay, what is a simunition? All right. Simunitions is something that I came in contact with the first time when I was in Special Forces. How do you get guys ready to go from the schoolhouse straight into combat? Okay, it used to be that you would go out to the field and you'd shoot a bunch of blanks. Is anybody here familiar with guns enough to know what a blank is? Okay, good. Got some shooters. First, I wanted to mention one more thing too, is that I'm kind of nervous up here. I don't like talking to people. It's not my personality to step out in front of a group of people. But when I'm passionate about something, I have no problem doing it. I kind of get past my fears and get to the root of it. Right now, I'm picturing you all in your underwear. Dave, why are you wearing some? It's kind of creepy. It's like myself. I know what it's like. I'm not afraid to laugh at myself. And what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to say, okay, we can be comfortable together. We don't have to be scary. I know I look a certain way, but when you get to know me, I am completely different than probably the first take on me. Is that I very much care about you as an individual, and I believe personally that the only way for me to help you and your families is for me to care about you. Because if I don't care about you, then really what am I doing? I'm trying to upsell you. I'm trying to put a gun in your hand, try to upsell you or anything like that. You know what? I don't deal with the money with our company because I've removed myself from everything, every part of that. Because when you come in the back of the training area with me and you're inviting me into your family's lives, I want to say, hey, my name's Clint. I don't care about all that front of the house stuff. I'm here to help you, but I have to know you in order to help you. And that's kind of the approach that Special Forces taught me. They said you have to survive in combat based off of your indigenous forces. You're going to be seen as an intruder or as an infidel invading their country. How do you get past that? Well, you do that by being friendly and actually genuinely caring about the people you're trying to work with. So that was kind of the approach to training that Special Forces taught me, but the product that they introduced me to that I thought was fantastic was this. Does everybody have one of these? Or have one here? This is the simulation. This is like holding on to an iPod and trying to tell everybody currently that their cassette tapes will soon be expired or out of date. Why is that? Because with this, it fires at 400 feet per second. It leaves a little paint splat right there, but it actions, functions, and records with about almost complete accuracy as a real round would. The only thing you're missing is two things, which we don't really miss in the end. One is that lethal effect. So if you have a wife or a child that you'd like to introduce to firearms, I can tell them, like, hey, you guys can literally shoot me in the foot on accident. One, you'll never make that mistake again. And two, I get to learn how I allowed that to happen in my presence. But at the end of the day, we're just wiping off some paint going home. What does that do to you? You're like, okay, I can have a mistake in this environment, and I can learn from it, and it's not going to cost me or cost anybody else their life. So right then and there, this product is the only way that I've seen to say that a woman who had her eye shot out when she was a kid, a client of mine recently, she had her eye shot out when she was a kid, scared to death of guns. Her husband brings her to me. Why? Because this is the only type of facility that's on it. He says, Clint, I think you're just the right person to teach my wife about firearms, but she's scared to death of it. So what did I do? I said, well, let's bring her in, let me meet her. Do you think that I was in a real rush to put a gun in her hand? No, because the sight of the gun was going to scare the crap out of her. So what did I do? I showed her around the facility. I showed her how all of our walls move. I showed her the bed and how we teach little old ladies to shoot from the bed and all that other stuff. But anyway, just I'm trying to stay on track here. But the gun is a real Glock. It is converted over to under-fire simulation, so you can't have an accident. That was just a slide.
All right, I'm going to stop you there. But before we open it up to questions, why don't you finish the thought we just started?
Basically, when I saw this, I said, hey, this is the future of firearms. Imagine you can go out to your garage and use this product in your garage instead of having to travel 30 minutes to the range, 30 minutes back home. And my whole point is to say, let's turn back on the news at some point in our lives. I get sick and tired of watching the news, and there's nothing good to report. Because what? There's a lot of people out there that are being victimized. If we can go out there and introduce people to who they are and who their attackers are and show them how to beat them, what are we going to have? Less attackers. And when you do that within a geographical area, which is Tulsa, what do you tell everybody? The free lunch isn't here. Go somewhere else. Okay? But that's why I hope that we can work together and create a better tomorrow for all our kids. Sorry for getting off track, but I'm very passionate about this. It's a rabbit hole. One leads to another.
All right. The questions will come.
Okay.
So
I have a ton of questions.
I
So
know.
I'll pop
It's
this
just
out.
one follow-up.
Yes, one. How badly do these hurt to get hit by one?
They'll leave bumps, screws, and little scratches on bare skin. But all you have to wear back there, let's say this is all we wear. When we're back there training, this is all we wear right here. You know why? Because these things don't go above 140 decibels, meaning that they will not make your ears ring. So you can literally just be back there, talk, hey, say, Paul, how you doing? Hey, but if you're on a live fire range, what am I doing? Hey, Paul, get your finger on the trigger. You know? But this is what we'll use 99% of the time, and when you're ready, and only when you're ready. We'll put a helmet on you, we'll put a cut protector on you that fits on the outside of your clothing, and then we'll use these gloves right here. That's it. We want there to be a pain response, because if there's not a pain response, then what are you going to treat it as? A game. You're going to treat it as a game. Airsoft, paintball, those are the closest thing to what we do. And no one who is looking to say, I need validation on my skills to protect my family, is going to go to one of those places and walk out of there with saying, you know what, now I feel ready. But with this, you can't, because, it gives you just enough of a hope to say, wow, I did something wrong. But it's not going to cripple you and say, wow, I'm laid up in the bed for 3 days. That's the fun.
The other question is, how much does a box of these cost?
Our cost right now, out straight from the manufacturer, is about 57 cents a round. So they're on par to be just as expensive as a normal round. The way that they designed this round is they gave it a real primer. The real primer expends a little bit of gas. That little bit of gas then pushes this white capsule piece, which is called saber, out, and it almost pops, right? It pops. And it sends the projectile going out at 400 feet per second, and that'll give you a 6-inch grouping which is about tolerance of this much at 30 feet. I've been able to show time and time again that I can teach anybody now. I mean anybody. I've re-taught myself everything to teach it to the everyday person. I can teach anybody in this room how to shoot in 10 minutes. Most of you will be able to take the hostage shot. I just did my 100th person from last night. Most of you in this room can take the hostage shot over the fourth round. What is the hostage shot? You shoot your first 3 rounds at 30 feet with one hand, which anybody knows anything about shooting, that's pretty advanced in itself. And what I do is I bring the target a little bit closer, and then I'll let you shoot right past my face while I'm wearing these, and hit the target. I've done this as of last night 100 times over the last 3 months, and I've never been hit in the face once. That's something that is noteworthy. Don't worry about me just telling you that. Look on the website, look at the videos, look at who I'm teaching this to. It's not Rambo in there I'm training. It's your grandmother.
Can you talk about the conversion kit and can you fit them all? I'm guessing it's a 9mm.
It's 9mm. Currently, they're only simunitions. This product's been out for 10 years. Why have we heard about it? Not doing the test of time or something like that? No. It's because it's only been exclusively used in special forces and special, units in the police forces. That is why you guys haven't heard about it. It's been open for civilian use for the last 3 years. When I became an instructor at the United States Shooting Academy, what did I do? I watched them sell off the shoot house, and I told them, hey, we can use this product, and we don't need a shoot house. Everything's a shoot house. Everything's a ballistically sound shoot house when you're using this. Well, they passed on it, and I said, you know what? We need something better for everyday people. So in my facility, again, we put the walls around, we can put basic household furniture in there, and these conversions, it's almost like buying 2 guns. You have the lower, which is real and licensed, okay, serial number I should say, and then the upper comes straight from the manufacturer. So if your lower costs you about $300, this upper costs about the same. So it's almost like buying 2 guns. The good news is that we control the product right now in the area, and people could go out and buy it potentially, but they have to go get your license and all that stuff too. So if you want to slide, I'm trying to hold it right now, but it's not going to come in a compact version because these are still the full-size frame guns that were designed for the military and law enforcement. So if you want some more information on that, you can go to citymissions.com, or you can go down and scroll and see every slot that they make.
Okay, so they make it for more than just a lot of different
They have SIG, they have Colt, they have.
Is it just in the 9mm?
But you're going to see them all in full size. Whatever that model is, it's in full size. The 2 type of calibers we get to work with is we get to work with the 9mm, and I didn't bring the M4, but the M4 is also shooting 9mm. And then we have 38 Special. 38 Special actually slides right into your everyday revolver. You can bring your revolver. So I put these little washers in there that make them safe, meaning you could put a real round in there by accident. And we get to, in my facility, we share a wall with an indoor kids soccer arena and a 24-hour gym. Why? Because we left all the real bullets out of it. So we actually are on the beaten path. Our parents would just say, "Oh, what is this?" And they come in. It's been really a success. I just need more people to help out.
Another very cool story, which I applaud my income for bringing these stories every day. Love what you're doing. Everybody has different opinions on guns, and what I've always told people is at least shoot a gun once, regardless of what your opinion is. So having this as an outlet is really cool. The playing devil's advocate, the recoil aspect, I think, is the only challenge when I see somebody's birdie actually shooting real rounds. How have you seen that affect how you're training?
Well, it's all about how you get introduced to the product. That's actually a really good question that I've done a lot of research on. The question really is, how is the recoil compared to the normal gun? It's not as bad, but if I was going to write a book right now, I could write an entire book on recoil. We are introduced to recoil the wrong way. Guys in the room, have you ever thought about buying a gun, been in a gun school or a gun show, and ever heard a man try to sell a gun to a woman? As soon as he figures out that she doesn't know anything about shooting, what does he do? What is his first reaction? And it's a guy, he's trying to help her. He's not trying to hurt her, but he says, well, you need a bigger gun. The logic behind that is that if you don't know how to shoot, then we want to give you the biggest caliber possible. So if you do hit him, it's a one-stop shot. But I've been able to show time and time again that the less you know and the way you're introduced to the material, recoil is, I think big caliber shooting is going to be a thing of the past once I'm able to convey this on a large enough scale to people and say, listen, if you can shoot, then it doesn't matter about the size of the caliber. I carry a little 22 Magnum. You know why? Because it's not about the size of the bullet, it's about where you put the bullet. And these recoils right here, they action, and they're missing about 2 pounds of actual force back. That's actually a good thing. I wouldn't want these things to actually. When I first got a hold of this product, I tried to go to the drawing board and figure out how I can get a recoil. Because I saw that as about the only thing this thing was really missing. And as soon as I started seeing more and more people come through, and I started looking at recoils in a different way, when we get introduced to recoil, we see it as a scary force that we're trying to stop. Well, it's not. It's a naturally occurring force. The gun's perfect. We are the imperfect part of the equation that wraps ourselves around it. And if you just understand that the forces of nature are there, and if you fight them, that's how you end up throwing your shots. If you just kind of roll with them, then that's how you achieve accuracy very quick. So I don't miss recoil.
Lynn, you mentioned scale just now, so could you go for a little bit further and talk about how you run scale this concept?
Okay, well right now we're trying to, right now currently we have a physical location. But in the beginning I opened up the stores anyway. I was an actual, you open the doors, anything coming through, and I called it a business. I had no business experience, I had no business plan. I had a wife living there, loved my life, Dr. Drew, and she invested in my idea because she saw how passionate I was about it. Well, the first 3 months, we broke even on the first month, we made money on the next 2 months. I ran myself ragged because I had the idea for it in May and we opened up our doors in October. You're talking about moving with a purpose there and then running yourself ragged over 3 months. Well, I couldn't sustain that pace on my own. That was just the God's honest truth. Loved what I was doing, couldn't sustain the pace. So what I decided to do was close down for a month, restructure the business, and now the way we're going to do it is we're going to go and look for families, individuals, and businesses that want to work with me for 30 days. You let me come into your home, you let me come into your place of business, and I will, in 30 days, work with everybody in that facility, identify where you guys are most likely to threat, and then build custom scenarios that we can do at the facility, onesies and twosies, and then actually do a full-blown, rehearsal at your place of business or your home. And at the end of that, instead of helping instead of servicing somebody or 200 people through the course of a month, I would rather change the lives of one organization, one family, one individual, and know that I've truly changed their life for the better. Now, the way we're going to scale it out in the future is it's going to be, this is designed from its inception for veterans. Our military is going to downsize by half over the next year. Veterans are coming home and they're faced with 4 possibilities right now. Go to school, become something completely different. Go back overseas and contract, be away from your family and friends, and possibly end up getting killed just for the money. You can become a cop, you can become a security guard. That's about it. I say no. I say these guys have over a decade of experience just like me. And when they come home, yeah, they're missing the business side of it, but they have the experience side of it, they have the charisma, they have the firm handshake, soft touch approach to training that I look for in instructors. But if they were to link up with someone like yourselves, what could they do? If you can just run the business side of it and let these guys do what they do, then what could we do as a whole? We can put money in every town, city, state, across the country, and we can show that when we put a BIA in town, the crime goes down. Why? Because there's less victims in that immediate area. And I'm also saying, well, how can you afford guys like that? So I'm building restructuring the website and the subscriber site. And I'm building a subscriber site. So instead of putting out a video, we're going to upload videos every day. What's the difference between Brian coming in and Jeff coming in? I might teach them the basic pistol course, but Brian's going to do something different than Jeff does, which makes it a completely different experience. Because there's probably 100,000 people out there that are similar to Jeff, and they're going to see Jeff's video and go, wow, that would make sense because the way I had explained it to you. But when they look at Brian's, they're going to go, wow, I'm just like Brian, that made sense to me. So instead of putting it out in a DVD, this is an ever-evolving entity. And when everybody gets tired of hearing me talk, bring on another guy who has that same charisma and experience, and he's going to take it forward in the direction that he wants. That has a limited earning potential. A limited earning potential. Physical structure probably taps out between 3. You have your salesman, your manager, and your trainer, and that taps out probably about substitute that with subscriber sales, then you have unlimited term, earning potential, and you can literally recruit, train, and pull the best of the best instructors over to this organization. And I think guys that are out there just doing it for the money somewhere else, when you combine all the layers that this thing's built around, you'll attract the right type of people.
But you mentioned that you had a video that would walk us through.
And I'm gonna stick around afterwards, so you guys, you still have, we have one more question.
Okay, or after this question, if you want to do that, then we'll do it.
I don't need the microphone, my voice carries.
Well, we could use it for the video.
You didn't mention commercial customers. I'm wondering about convenience stores in the area, you approach them.
I was talking with the retired VP of Quick Trip the other day. He wants to have another meeting with me. He thinks we can do anything, whatever your problems. We can work with this coffee shop. All you have to do is come in and ask somebody, like, just tell me about your day, and allow me to kind of identify the commercial. And we can do team building. We can do commercials. I've already started putting together a program for real estate agents because I believe that they're high risk because of their approach. They go out to places that are not theirs. They put their faces on cards, which makes them an easy target for predators. They need something done. So whatever the need is, we'll be able to fill it. And if we're not, then we'll just tell you we can't. We'll tell you where we miss.
It's part of your training process to certify that they completed the simulation aspect of the training, and then introduce them to the live.
Yes, sir. We do a crawl, walk, run method. We build from the ground up. I have people that have been training with me for 3 months that have never had to do force on force. You know why? They don't want to. So I'm not going to make them. That's not up to me to decide when they're ready for that. That's up to them. Some of these people were just, nice enough to allow me the opportunity and the honor to teach them something that could save their life. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, I just say, we'll give you a certificate, and right now that's worth jack bone. But as the brand builds, as the name gets built up, and as we service more people in more markets, hold on to that name because it might be a pretty renowned name later on. So here's a video, about 4 minutes in length, and we do a full screen. All right, I'm just going to do the play-by-play on this. So this is the visual I'm going to leave you guys with. So this is just one of those simple videos I put on YouTube. I'm not a video editor, so please excuse me. This Dan right here is named Danny. He was a student of mine out at USSA, and he's a really good shot. I mean, really is. Shouldn't have any worries, any concerns. But he confided in me. He goes, Clint, my biggest concern is that we're out there on the range all the time practicing for this perfect scenario, nothing's moving. He goes, I want to know how to get the gun off the nightstand all the time. So what did I do? Got a queen-size bed, a nightstand, and said, let's figure this out. And what we figured out was that, he's right now he sleeps on the left side of the bed and right-handed. So two things and he has the gun in the holster. So the two things that I said, hey brother, this is what you should do. You should take the gun out of the holster, and you should go with your left hand. Because why can't you shoot with my left hand? Yes, you can. Because within these certain distances right here, it's point and shoot. Meaning that if you can just refrain from putting your finger on the trigger so quickly, and you point your finger at something really fast, and then drop it into the trigger ball, if you're within 15 feet of that something that you pointed at, you're going to hit it. And the first hit is the most important because then that gives you time to find your sights and deliver a follow-on hit. So there he is, getting the gun off the nightstand, and I also teach him with his right hand to push on the right side of the bed to simulate that he's trying to hold his wife down. Because just imagine you're asleep at night and you hear a gunshot. Your wife's going to spring up, just like mine would, and she's going to be in the middle of a gunfight. So you have to plan a little bit forward of that and say, okay, I'm going to hold her down while I do this so she doesn't end up being hurt. And I'm telling him right here is just a part of the video where I tell him, hey, cops are minutes away when seconds count. They're reactionary by nature. You have to take ownership that there's no one else's fault, no one else's responsibility to take care of you and your family other than yourself. Now I'm going to teach you how to do a little turnover with the cop. Now this is the Armstrong family. Tyler stumbled across the place, and he was so impressed by it, he ended up bringing his wife in. And this is kind of the recurring pattern I'm seeing lately. Is a husband and wife will come in and have such a moving experience that they'll end up bringing the entire family. So Tyler's getting the gun off the nightstand. I'm in the other room. I'm telling the kids to get flat on the floor, link up, and station towards their exit. In the beginning of this video, I wish we had edit the sound, but at the beginning of the video, you hear Tyler say, "Kids, if you hear a gunshot, what are you gonna do?" First time he's really ever asked that to them. What do you think they replied at? "We're gonna go tell mom and dad." They both looked at each other and they turned pale white and they go, "See, this is why we're here. This is why we need to get some training." And then I explained to them. I said, "Hey, you guys, this is how you're gonna help mom and dad. They know that there's a gunshot. You don't need to go tell them. What you need to do is the older siblings, you need to link up with your younger siblings, and you need to get them towards the exit. You're gonna wait there 30 seconds. Why 30 seconds? Because if at the end of 30 seconds you don't hear mommy and daddy, you guys are gonna get out of the house and you're gonna go eat across the street to your neighbor Bill. Bill's now a part of their plan. They're encompassing their neighbors in this. And that's how you're gonna help mom and dad. You're not gonna scream out for them, you're not gonna see if they're okay or anything like that. Imagine what you could do as a parent if you knew that your kids were gonna be out of the house in 30 seconds. And you didn't have to run down that hallway to get them. You would give them all the tools and the plan to execute in the event of such an emergency. Now with here, what I'm talking with them about a little bit is just bringing the whole plan together. Letting them know that, hey, if the guy comes to the door and they grab you, and your mom can only do one thing but grab them, you're gonna get out of the house all the same. I asked the little boy, I said, "Hey, what are you gonna do if your mom didn't get it?" I was kind of thinking about, did anybody here see the New Jersey mother get beat down on a gaming cam? Happened in Broadway, like I came in the door, started beating on her, and what did she do? Her little girl's on the couch, another little girl upstairs. And in the interview, they don't show her face, but she says, at some point, 30 seconds, 40 seconds into it, I just stopped fighting. I just kept standing up so you could get me. Why did she do that? Because she was terrified of the fact that if she didn't keep standing up and taking these blows to the head and these punches, what was going to happen to her kids? He was going to hurt her. So her only plan was to just keep letting this man beat on her. What if those kids, the first kid would immediately identify what situation it is, gone upstairs, grabbed the little girl, and was out the door?
But could you finish up by telling us how we, the community, can help you?
$1 million. You guys have sold 1 million cups of coffee, I'm sure you have it. The way that you can help us is just by spreading the word about who we are here in town. If you have networks of people that you think that this would appeal to, I would be very interested in hearing about it. There's so many people right now helping me for all of my shortcomings and not allowing this thing to die. I think it's because this is truly needed in today's time that people see that. It helps on a lot of different levels. And if you have been moved by anything I've said, or you identify that this is something not only would you maybe want to be a client of, but help to see it in reality, then any of those networks and just the opportunity to go out and speak to people kind of just seems to be, the word of mouth seems to be our best asset right now.
All right, terrific. Well, let's give a hand for Clint and BIA. Thank you all again for being here this week. Every Wednesday, 9 o'clock, we have 2 startups. We'll do it again next week, so we'll see you then.